Hi guys, मैं हूं आयुषी and welcome to Law Digest. As you can see on the screen, today we are going to discuss everything about the Hindu marriage in this video. So this video is important for those people who are either preparing for any law entrance or who are in their LLB first semester or second semester where family law is a subject, or any other person who has a keen interest in law and wishes to gain the knowledge of law. So in case you belong to any of these three categories, what you can do is you can subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon for more such videos so that you can keep yourself updated with the law of the land. Let's firstly see who is a Hindu. So to basically understand what a Hindu marriage is as per the Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Marriage Act is the law that deals with the Hindu marriage and the Hindu traditions. Now, before moving on to see what are the essentials of a Hindu marriage and how it can take place, we need to understand who is a Hindu in first place. Hindu hota kaun hai? Hindu is a person both of whose parents are either Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, or Sikh by religion. So here you need to see that not just Hindu is a Hindu. Hindu also includes other religions like Buddhist, Jain, Sikh within its ambit. So Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, these religions are excluded from the purview of the term Hindu as per the Hindu Marriage Act. Then next is one of the parent is belonging to either of these religions and that person is brought up as a member of such community, tribe, or whatever his parent belongs to. So basically this means, for example, there is a person A and his parents B and C. His mother is a Hindu and his father is a Christian. So now if this person has been brought up as a Hindu because the mother is a Hindu and that person has been brought up as a member of the Hindu tribe, Hindu community, then that person will be considered to be a Hindu as per the Hindu Marriage Act. Then another is convert or a reconvert to the Hindu religion. So a person who converts or is from another religion or reconverts to Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, or Sikhism, then in that case, that person will also consider to be a Hindu. So now moving on, let's see what are the essentials that are required for a Hindu marriage to happen. So for a proper marriage as per this act to happen, it is necessary that the person does not have another spouse living. So basically this means that bigamy is not allowed in Hinduism. If you will connect it with criminal law, then you will see in section 494 of the IPC, bigamy is strictly prohibited and such marriage is considered to be a void marriage. So the person should not have any other spouse living. Then the groom should be of a minimum age of 21 and the bride should be 18 years. So the minimum age limit is also prescribed. Then next is the marriage should be out of free consent. The consent should be free. The consent to the marriage should not be obtained by any fraud as such. Then the person should not be insane or should not be suffering from any mental disorder. In that case, such a marriage will be considered to be voidable at the option of the other person. So if you will see, free consent and insanity, these are the two grounds on which the marriage can be declared to be voidable if these essentials are not present. Then the other two are not from prohibited degree and not a sapinda. So the two persons who are getting married, they should not be within the prohibited degree of relationships or not within the sapinda relationship of each other. In such a case, what will happen is the marriage will be considered to be void if this case is present. So now what do you mean by sapinda or prohibited degree of relationship? This we need to understand. So this we will understand in the next slide. So here if you will see, S refers to the son. So a person is a son, and now what we will do is we will figure out how does the sapinda relationship work. So as you can see from the word itself, sapinda matlab same pind. Pind here basically refers to the bloodline. So if two persons want to get married to each other, it needs to be seen if they have a common ancestor or not. Now this common ancestor is traced how? Is traced in the three generations on the side of the mother and is traced through the five generation line through the side of the father. Now how does this happen? ये complex लग रहा होगा देखने में, but this is pretty easy. I'll tell you how. So now the person that we are considering will be considered to be the part of the first gen. So this is the first generation that we are looking at. So if we are trying to figure out the person who wants to get married to another, for that person we will take that person to be included in the first generation. Then we will move upwards to figure out a common ancestor lineal ascendant. We will move in the upward direction and not downward direction, because we have to find the ancestor of this person. If we go downwards, then this person is the ancestor of the people in the generation that are to come after him. So we need to figure out the ascendant for this person, and that is the logic why we go upwards. Now we will check his mother. Mother will come in the second generation. Then we are looking here at the mother's father. Mother's father will be the third generation. Now looking at the father's side, father is the part of the second generation. Then father's fathers will be third, father's fathers will be fourth, and the last one will be fifth generation. Now these are the generations that we have chalked out. We have seen a limit up to what we can go and check. Now we are seeing the person whom he wants to really marry is whom. So here what we will do is, for example, if we consider father's father has another daughter and S wants to get married to this particular person. Now we need to trace the relationship between them, whether it is a Sapinda relationship or not. So if we go from the father's side, because this person is on the father's side, so we won't look at the mother's side for a common ancestor, we look at the father's side. So if we go up till the third generation, we have father's father. And if we go from here, this person will be considered to be the first gen in this area. Then in the second gen, the common ancestor does exist. So therefore S and D cannot marry each other because they have a common ancestor. They are from the same pin. They are sapindas to each other, and such marriage is prohibited. And in case such a marriage takes place, it will be considered to be as void as per the Hindu Marriage Act. So this is the Sapinda relationship. Now let's see the prohibited degrees of relationship which have been prescribed by the Act. What are they? If one is a lineal ascendant of the other. So you will see that there is an overlap between Sapinda and prohibited degree. So this particular overlap does exist. The only difference is that in Sapinda relationship, we go by the generations and we try to figure out the common ancestor. In prohibited degree of relationship, there are certain relationships that are predefined and no marriage can take place within that particular definition. So if one person is a lineal ascendant of the other, so for example, I've laid out here mother, father or grandparents. So if the two people have a common mother or a father or grandparents, they cannot get married. Then next is if one was the wife or husband of a lineal ascendant or descendant of the other. So here we see we are speaking of the descendant as well. There we were looking at lineal ascendant, a common ancestor. Here we are looking at both. So partner of mother or a father or grandparent is the person who will fall in this category, and the person cannot get married to such a person. If one was the wife of the brother or of the father or mother's brother. So to make it easier, we will look at the example side by side. Wife of the brother, that is bhabhi, you mean sister-in-law. Then wife of father's brothers will be tai or chachi. Then that is aunt. Then mother's brother's wife, that is mami, or grandfather or grandmother's brother, that will be nani. So these are the areas that are prohibited relationships. And the last one is if two are brother and sister, uncle and niece, aunt and nephew, or children of brother and sister, or two brothers or two sisters. In that case, this marriage cannot happen. So with this, we come to the end of this video. So this is basically what Hindu marriage is about. Firstly, you need to know who is a Hindu, Then you need to know what are the essentials of a Hindu Marriage Act. So if you must have seen the essentials, they are given in form of disqualifications, that these conditions must not be present. And further, these are the two areas, Sapinder relationship and prohibited degree relationships, that need to be considered to understand actually what is the whole Hindu marriage about and what are the prohibitions that exist in our personal law. In case you have any further doubts or queries, you can leave the same in the comment box below. And I hope this video provided you with the basic clarity of how the marriage takes place under the Hindu law.